Okay, well, good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, depending on where in the world you are. Welcome to today's webinar on getting more from your link data with Rebrandly Webhooks. I'm Stephanie Yoder. I'm the Director of Content at Rebrandly, and I'll be moderating today. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to show you what's possible with webhooks. So first, a few quick housekeeping notes. Everyone is muted, so feel free to get comfortable. We are recording this session and we'll send the recording to everyone who registered within 24 hours, along with a technical white paper that you can reference as well. Today we have about a 30-minute presentation, and then we'll have 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A at the end. So you can use the Q&A feature to submit your questions, and I'll be monitoring that. If there's something relevant to the demos, I may interrupt Carlissa. If not, we'll save them till the end. So let me introduce our speaker today. Carlissa Ablay is our Senior Product Manager here at Rebrandly. As Senior PM, she wears many hats. She tackles everything from leading product demos and supporting customer tickets to generating social content. She helps me out a lot, basically doing whatever it takes to move the needle and deliver value to our customers. So she's going to walk you through exactly how webhooks work, show you some demos and some real examples that you can use to get started. So Carlissa, I will hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Everybody, welcome to today's webinar on Rebrandly Webhooks. Super excited to deep dive into this because it does unlock real-time link intelligence and automation. So if you've ever spent time manually exporting data or copy pasting link performance into spreadsheets, or just wishing that your links could talk to other tools automatically, well, you're in the right place. Hooray! We've got some really great stuff to show you today. So, as Stephanie has mentioned, I'm Carlissa Ablay, Senior Product Manager here at Rebrandly. We will go into an agenda. And so here is what we're covering in this webinar. I do want to make sure that you all understand what webhooks actually are, and more importantly, why they should matter to you and your team. Then we're going to look at some real world use cases across different industries because I think this is where this feature really comes into life. And the fun part, we've got 3 live integration demos lined up for you. We'll go over Zapier, HubSpot, and Google Analytics 4, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set these up. And make sure that this process is straightforward. And at the end, as Stephanie has mentioned, we'll talk about how you can get started as well as have a Q&A session. So as part of that Q&A, please let us know what integrations you're most excited about and what capabilities you'd like to see added to our platform, or even the use cases that you'll use webhooks for. So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about the big why first. Webhooks are basically the antidote to all of that manual and tedious work that nobody really likes doing. With webhooks, you eliminate manual work entirely, so you're no longer exporting CSVs at the end of the week. There's no more copy paste marathons for you. Your link data is just going to flow automatically to wherever you need it. And here's the kicker, you can react in real time. We're basically talking within 10 seconds of every single click. And that means you can actually do something with that information while it's still hot and while your prospect is still actively engaging with you. The best part, you don't need a developer to set this up. With tools like Zapier and ChatGPT or any other LLM you'd like to use, which we'll demo in a bit, you can build these powerful workflows without you specifically having to write a single line of code. And of course, this isn't just some beta feature we're testing. It is live and it is enterprise grade stuff. So we do have 99.9% delivery success rates. We have automatic retries, the whole 9 yards. So you can set it, forget it, and trust it. So that's pretty awesome, right? So let me show you how teams are actually using webhooks across different industries. For our marketing and advertising folks in the call, imagine being able to pause underperforming ads automatically based on click-through rates, or triggering personalized follow-up email sequences the moment someone clicks your link. You can even track influencer campaign performance in real time, which is huge for ROI measurement. For our sales and CRM teams, this is gold for you. You can set up instant alerts so your sales reps know the second a hot prospect clicks on a pricing page, your lead scores update automatically based on engagement, and you can see exactly which pieces of content are actually moving deals forward through your pipeline. All right, so e-commerce teams, listen up. You have cart recovery workflows that can trigger automatically when someone clicks but doesn't convert. Yes, please. You can measure ROI down to the dollar in real time and even track product interest to optimize your inventory. And finally, for our media and analytics friends, you can track content performance as it's happening, connect those social shares directly onto on-site conversions, and identify viral content while it's still trending. It's like having a pulse on your content 24/7. The possibilities here really are endless. And so I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great, but it's probably really complicated to set up, right? Wrong. Let me show you how simple it is to actually set this up. So I'm going to go into a Rebrandly dashboard. This is my test account. This is activated on the professional plans and up. So if you are on those plans, this is something that you can do today. So when you navigate into your account settings, you can go into your webhooks page, which will direct you into this tab. Configuring a webhook is super easy to do. Go ahead and click the new webhook button. Give your webhook a name. Give it some URL. So this URL is basically where we're going to pass this event data to. Your third-party system will generate this for you, whether it's Zapier, HubSpot, Salesforce. You can generate that URL in those systems and paste it onto here. In case you do need a secret key, just for that extra security, we will generate that for you. What this secret key does is it tells your other systems that we're a legit source. So in case you need that key, it's here. And finally, go ahead and select the workspace where when a link in that workspace is clicked, we will pass over that data into your URL of choice. And once that webhook is set up, you can go ahead and test it and look at these additional details. We give you the ability to send test events. When those events are passed through or when they error out, you can actually see those messages. So you'll see the HTTP status code as well as the payload in the request itself. If you do run into an error, we give you that same HTTP status code and the failure that's occurring, as well as the paywall that we tried to send over. And that's really it. That's all you need to do to set up real-time data through your URL of choice. And so this whole process, you basically just saw it less than 5 minutes, right? Really easy to do. I've done this myself many times, and I promise you, once you do it the first time, you'll be setting up webhooks left and right. So now that you've seen that, we're going to be focusing on 3 specific integrations that I think represent different use cases very well. The first up is going to be Zapier. This is essentially a gateway to literally thousands of apps. If you're not using Zapier, you can use different automation tools. But if you really want to connect Rebrandly to basically anything, these types of tools are your friend. I'll give you a high-level overview of Zapier, then we'll focus on making various automation flows like ones that connect to HubSpot CRM and Google Analytics 4. So for HubSpot CRM, this is all about turning those link clicks into actual sales intelligence. We're going to show you how to auto-update contact records and trigger workflows based on engagement with your links. With Google Analytics 4, this is really for closing that attribution gap. We're going to show you how to track link clicks right alongside your website behavior so that you can finally see the complete customer journey. Now, I do want to be clear, these are just 3 examples. Webhooks will work with tons of other platforms as well, but these 3 will give you a really good sense of what's possible. So let's dive into the first one, which is Zapier. This is where things get fun because Zapier does open up connections to over 5,000 apps. Let me repeat that. 5,000 apps. The key benefits here are huge. There's really a true no-code automation. And if you do have to do a little bit of code, we're going to have ChatGPT do that for us or any other LLM tool that you'd like to use. So with this, your marketing team can build workflows themselves without bothering your dev team. You can create multi-step workflows from a single webhook trigger. So one click event can set off a whole chain reaction of actions across multiple tools. And the speed, you can deploy these integrations in minutes instead of weeks. I'm talking from idea to live automation in the time it takes you to drink a cup of coffee. And I do have my own cup of coffee here. Hopefully you can see. So we will complete this demo within the time I finish that coffee. All right. And so if you can also use pre-built templates from Zapier's library or get creative and build completely custom workflows. It's super flexible. So some popular connections that you can see here are Slack notifications for VIP clicks so that your team gets pinged in real time. You can connect to Google Sheets for automated reporting, your dashboards update themselves. If you have Salesforce integration, you can do that for CRM enrichment. If you have a marketing automation tool like MailChimp, you can do automatic list segmentation based on engagement as well. But honestly, whatever tools you're using, Zapier probably connects to them. And so let me show you how Zapier works at a very high level. When you're in Zapier, you typically have something called a zap. A zap is a workflow, and workflows have two different things. They have a trigger, and then they have a bunch of different actions that you can add. And setting up a Rebrandly webhook trigger in Zapier is very, very straightforward and easy to do. When you click on your trigger, you're going to go select webhooks as your trigger of choice, and then your trigger event is going to be catching the webhook. Catching the webhook is essentially like baseball. Rebrandly is throwing a baseball of this really cool click event into Zapier, and Zapier is catching that webhook event. So that's why we're going to say you're going to use the catch webhook event. Configuration, you don't really need to add anything else. You can add a specific key that directly looks up a parameter inside the payload if you want a specific value, but you don't need to set this up. At the end, what Zapier will do is it will give you a URL of your choice. Again, like I said, a lot of these outside tools will generate that URL for you. This is what you go ahead and paste into Rebrandly. And that's it. That is how you set up a webhook trigger in Zapier. And then from there, you can add additional actions. So that's a very high level overview of how you create a Zap with a webhook trigger. We're going to go into the automation flows next, specifically HubSpot. So HubSpot users, this is for you. Here's what you get. So every time someone clicks on one of your Rebrandly links, you can automatically update their contact record in HubSpot with that engagement data. You don't have to do any manual entry. There's no delays. It just happens with this automation. So you can trigger sales alerts when your hottest leads engage with key content. Now imagine your sales rep getting a notification the instant a prospect clicks on that pricing page. That's so powerful. And lead scoring, you can automatically increase these based on link interactions. Someone's clicking on multiple pieces of content, their score goes up without you lifting a finger. And here's a stat that always blows people's minds. You can reduce manual data entry by 95%. That's hours back in your week every week. So we're going to show you some quick examples here that you can implement right away. Some of these are that you can set up a sales alert for pricing page views, which is perfect for high intent leads. You can automatically move contacts to an engaged lifecycle stage after they click multiple links, and you can create follow-up tasks automatically when leads click demo or trial links. So these are real workflows that people do use in real life. So let me show you how to set up a sales alert for when somebody clicks on that really important pricing page. We are going to go into Zapier. We'll go to HubSpot first so you can see how HubSpot looks. So for those who aren't familiar with HubSpot, it is a CRM. It stores all of your contacts as well as your marketing and content and sales actions. Here you can see some dummy users that I've uploaded, and all of these users are interacting with Rebrandly. Let's say that in this scenario, I want to go ahead and have Sarah Chen or any of these other contacts click a link. And when they click a link that directs to a pricing page, I want to let my sales team know that they have an action to take. So this is fairly straightforward to set up in HubSpot. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to create custom data attributes as well, if that's something that you're interested in passing. So you can add like UTM parameters or different URL parameters inside a Rebrandly link that can get passed through into your CRM of choice. How you would go ahead and do that in HubSpot is you go into settings. If you want to add custom properties to your contact, you go to the properties section, and then creating a property is really straightforward. Here you can see that I have created a custom property called the last link clicked. So I'm going to pass this data over from Rebrandly Webhooks into the contact so I know what the last link they clicked was. So that is really the only thing that you specifically need to do in HubSpot, and all the other work is done in Zapier itself. So let me go back to these contacts so we can jump back into it. But in Zapier, I'm going to show you all of the different automation steps that you're going to take. Again, you're going to use the webhook by Zapier as your trigger, and we're going to actually run some JavaScript code. I'll go into this shortly. You do not have to code this yourself. We're going to have AI do this for us. And then from there, I want to get my contact. I want to update that contact with the appropriate information. And then last but not least, I want to let my sales rep know that they have to take an action because this specific contact clicked on a very important link. So when you send over a webhook into Zapier, you will actually see a lot of data pass through. This is all of the click data that you're going to get. You can see there's location information, agent, browser, OS device, as well as information based on the URL and the Rebrandly account itself that has created this link. So this is all information that you can pass through. Now, what we're going to do is in a code action, we're going to clean this up a little bit so we can pick and choose what we exactly want. This is really important for CRM tools since typically what you'll do is you're going to pass an ID that identifies that contact in a URL parameter. So we need to parse this information and we're going to have code do that for us. Now, I may have an engineering background, but I do not code at all. I get my engineers to do coding for me, but I don't want to bother them. So what am I going to do if I need to run code in an automation flow? I'm going to have an LLM do this for me without even having to pass PII. So the LLM I'm choosing here is a free version of ChatGPT. I'm sure you all have used ChatGPT or any other LLM that's free. I feel like in this day and age, everybody has touched AI. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask ChatGPT to, hey, ChatGPT, I'm building the Zapier Zap where I want to make sure that I let my sales rep know when a recipient clicks a link so I can follow up with some action. Because I have all of this really good data, I need to parse through it to find my contact of choice, whether that's going to be through an email address or a customer ID, and then parse all of that click data so that I can use it in the remaining steps of my Zap. So that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing any code at all. I'm just pasting all of this click information. If you don't want to pass PII, that's okay. You don't have to. This is information that's available in our Help Center article. So you can just copy that Help Center code and then pass it onto here. And then what AI will do for you is it generates that code. That's it. It's just copy paste. You're not coding at all. So that's why we're saying this is a very low code solution. You don't have to follow up with your devs, but we're going to copy this code, go back into Zapier and paste this code so that I can parse through all of that really good information. Once that step is complete, what the code is doing is that it's parsing for that contact's ID or email address. Now, in my Rebrandly links, I am passing this through the as a URL parameter. You can dynamically update this if you would so like. There are different ways to do that. We have Help Center articles that will explain how you will do that. But for the sake of this demo, it is just baked into the URL itself. So this is the contact ID that I am pulling. and I want to match that ID in HubSpot. So what I am having Zapier do is I am again, creating an action where I select HubSpot as my choice of integration. I connect to my account and I want to get that contact. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing that contact ID from the second step and having it filled out in this field. So how you would go ahead and do that in Zapier, as well as any other automation tool that does this, is you click on this plus button, you go to your previous step where you ran JavaScript to parse that ID, and then you just look for that ID. If you don't want to scroll through all of this, just type in ID and you'll find that contact ID here. If it's an email, you can search up email, but that is how you find a contact within Zapier and HubSpot. And you'll see that because I passed that contact ID, it's going to return to me that customer from HubSpot. And that's how you grab a customer. Now, updating a customer is very, very straightforward. You get to decide what fields you want to update. In Zapier, this is an update contact event, and you can see here that I already have searched my fields, but really, Zapier will allow you to update any contact field in HubSpot that you would so choose. You can see that there's contact information that you can update, your follower account, buying role, et cetera, et cetera. And again, if you look up the custom property that we created, last link, if I can type this properly, you can find that information here. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking those previous steps, that information from those previous steps, and populating it with those data points. So very, very straightforward, very easy to set up, really all you have to do. And now that I've updated the contact with the last link that they clicked, I want to go ahead and tell a sales rep, hey, this contact clicked on this really important link. I want to create a task for you. In Zapier, this is called an engagement event. And when you configure it, you're going to make this a task. So that way it shows up in your sales reps task list. I am going to assign this to me specifically, but I will have a subject and I can fill out this task description and add all of that really good information that I captured in those previous steps. So at the end of the day, what will happen is when somebody clicks on this link, it will match that contact ID to a contact and update that contact in HubSpot and then generate that task. And how that task looks like in HubSpot. So you can see specifically it was Sarah Chen who clicked on that link. And if I am a sales rep in here, I can go to my tasks and I can see, oh my goodness, somebody clicked on this really important link and this Zapier automation created this task for me. So fairly straightforward. All of this information is in that task. So you can see all of that, all of the text that we included and the next steps here. I'm going to pause for a second just to check the Q&A to see if there's anything related to the specific demo. Yasmin, I see that you have a question around, are there plans to have a Rebrandly connector within N8N like Bitly does? With N8N, that is eventually an integration we could potentially look at. But with Zapier, if so long as Zapier has a connection with N8N, you can use that today without us having to do any of the development work. All right, so going back to the demo, that is HubSpot for you. We're going to go into the next demo where we're showcasing Google Analytics 4. So this one is all about attribution and really understanding your customer journey. So here's the problem this solves. Right now, if someone clicks on your link on social media, you might see that they click the link in Rebrandly, and you might see them convert on your website in GA4, but connecting those dots, that's been really hard until now. So with this integration, you can track link clicks right alongside website behavior in one unified platform. Everything's in GA4 where you're already doing your analysis. So you can build comprehensive marketing dashboards that show the complete picture. You can connect social links, social clicks directly to conversions, and you can create retargeting audiences based on link engagement. So there are some use cases that I'd like to show you when it comes to reporting capabilities. You can basically get campaign performance dashboards where you can compare engagement across your channels. You get conversion funnels that show the path from click to purchase. You can build custom audiences for retargeting based on specific engagement patterns. And then you get proper attribution modeling so your Rebrandly links get credit in your conversion paths. This is about finally having that complete visibility into what is working. And so how this will look like in Google Analytics is I'm going to go to settings first. So what I really want to do is make sure that I have my tracking set up. If you use Google Analytics 4, it's just a little script that you have to add to your website, but you do have to take additional steps. What you're going to do is you're going to data collection and modifications in your settings. You're going to data streams, and then you create that connection with your website. There are some key items that you'll need to pull in this connection, specifically your measurement ID, and then you're actually going to create an API key. This is how we're going to make sure we're passing that data into Google Analytics 4 through Zapier. So creating an API key, fairly straightforward. Go ahead and click on Measurement Protocol API Secrets and just click create. You can see that I've already created one here. I will just copy and paste this value into my code, which I will have ChatGPT build out for me. So let's take a look at the Zap itself. So the automation. Again, we are going to use a webhook to trigger this event. And then we're going to do that same cleanup. So I'm running that same exact code that you saw in that last step. And then I'm going to run different code that will actually pass all of this information into Google Analytics 4. And you can see here that it is a low code solution. I haven't coded this. Again, I do not how to code. I do not know how to code by myself, but I'm only passing the measurement ID and my API secret, which I did pull from Google Analytics. So how this is going to look like if you need to have an LLM generate code for you is you're going to say, I'm creating this Zapier Zap where I want to pass this specific event. So this event is a Rebrandly link click, and I want to pass this event into Google Analytics 4. I want to pass the click data tied to all of this event, tied to this webhook event via JavaScript, and I need to pass my API key and that measurement ID that I showed you. And again, the wonders of AI will generate this code for you. All you have to do is copy paste, fill out your measurement ID and your API secret, and that's it. Once you publish this Zap, all of that information starts to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to my Rebrandly dashboard. I'm going to go to a link that I've specifically set up on my website. You can see that I do have UTM parameters here, like my source, my medium, and my campaign. And then when this link gets clicked, what is happening is that Zap is passing that webhook event into Google Analytics 4. So then when you are in Google Analytics, you can go back to your dashboard, look at your reports. Let me make sure I'm going to the correct area. Yes, your reports. And you can see that in my real-time overview, I can see all of this really cool data. And whoa, here it is, my Rebrandly link click. I can click on this specific event and see all of the different information that's getting passed through via that webhook call. So in Google Analytics, you will be able to use this data to generate your own sorts of reports and make the connections that you need. You can also see this under View User Engagement. It is going to be passed as an event. So you can see all of the link clicks that you've had over time and how that's connecting to your website, as well as any other actions that are connected to Google Analytics. All right, so that is the Google Analytics demo for you. But beyond these, the capabilities are endless. We only just showed you HubSpot, Zapier, GA4, but those aren't your only options. You can use webhooks with so many different types of tools like data warehouses like Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift for those large scale analytics, BI tools like Tableau, Looker, and Power BI for that advanced visualization reporting. You can use it for marketing automation platforms like Marketo, Pardot, ActiveCampaign for those specific, sophisticated nurture workflows. And honestly, if these aren't doing it for you, you can build your own custom application yourself with our webhook API. So you already have full developer documentation. Um, and if you have a development team or you're technical yourself, the sky is the limit. The point here is webhooks are basically a fundamental building block to pass data or pass specifically that really good, really robust click data into wherever you want it to go. However, your tech stack is set up, we can fit into it. And that is the beauty of this approach. So if you are interested in this feature, you can get started today. You do need to upgrade to a professional plan or higher to basically create a webhook. So webhooks are a premium feature, but they're available on our paid plans above the essentials tier. Then you can go ahead and create your first webhook like I showed you. You can go ahead and test with those sample events, and we make it super easy to validate your setup before you go live so that there are no surprises. And finally, you can monitor delivery in your dashboard. We give you visibility into that webhook performance, the delivery rates, and any issues you might run into. So you are in complete control. And we are just about at time for me. We're going to go into the 15 minutes of Q&A if we have them. So before we wrap, we really do want to hear from you. I like to say this is not just a presentation, it is a conversation. So if you do have any questions about webhooks, please post them in the QA, and we do want your feedback. If webhooks is something that you're really interested in, let us know what challenges you're trying to solve. If you want different integrations that you want to see, let us know as well. If there's something that you wish we had covered today but didn't, let us know. Please drop your thoughts in the chat.
Thank you,
And
Carlissa. That was
yeah.
a fantastic and exactly 30-minute presentation. So very well done. So yes, as you mentioned, now we have some time for questions. So if you have any, feel free to put them in the box. We already have one from Yasmin. It says, if I were to create a webhook via NAN that connects Slack and Rebrandly, my team doesn't use Zapier or HubSpot. Can I do it without additional help from the Rebrandly team? So for example, I'd like to be
Yes.
able to create links in bulk, use a custom domain, and customize the back half of the shortened link. Are all of these doable via the existing Rebrandly webhooks?
Yes, you can do this with the existing Rebrandly webhooks if you're not going to use Zapier or HubSpot or any other like automation tool. You will need to look up Slack's API. So you're basically going to pass a webhook event that's happening on our side and call an API in Slack to generate that message for you. Now, Zapier does have a like Slack integration that you can easily use. Because you don't have Zapier Yasmin, you just have to call Slack's API, but it is a very straightforward setup. So long as you know how to use API calls, if you don't, you have LLMs to do it for you. Go ahead and ask ChatGPT or Claude or your favorite LLM of choice to show you how to call the appropriate API endpoint so that you can hook up our Rebrandly webhook to the Slack endpoint that will generate the message. But yes, you do not need any additional resources to do that from our side.
Wonderful. Okay, here's a question I have for you, Carlissa. What happens if my endpoint goes down or there's an issue with the receiving system? Do I lose all of that webhook data?
Good question. Thank you, Stephanie. So, as we said, webhooks are an enterprise grade feature, even if you're not on an enterprise plan. We do have that 99.9% uptime. In the event your webhook event fails, we do retry up to 5 times within 24 hours. So, you do get that retry logic across webhooks in general. So, you are not going to be missing any of that really nice data that you want to see. We do retry logic.
Great. And I have a couple more frequently asked questions, but if anyone else has a question, feel free to drop it in. So, can you give me a realistic timeline for how long it would take to get the HubSpot integration up and running for my team?
Yeah, I mean, so you also thank you for the question, Stephanie. You all saw me basically go through the steps of the HubSpot demo. I did have an LLM to help me out in the different steps that I needed to take. In this day and age, AI is your friend. Please use agents. Please use MCPs. Please use your favorite AI tool of choice. When I first set up this demo, it took me about, I want to say, like 20 minutes because I understood all of the different steps. All I had to do was recreate those steps in Zapier, call out HubSpot as necessary, and then just make it live.
Great. Wonderful. All right. We have a question from Maria, and she asks, does Rebrandly have an MCP?
Thank you for the question, Maria. The answer is yes, and we are building out more capabilities with that MCP. So today, our MCP will allow you to create a Rebrandly link. For those who are unfamiliar with MCPs, an MCP is essentially an AI agent that talks to other AI agents. So we have an AI agent that will automatically create a link for you if you have a different system that is also using an agent and you just want to be like, hey, Rebrandly, can you create a link for me? That MCP will do that. We are expanding our MCP capabilities in the next quarter. So, sometime in Q1, you're going to see these really cool, robust events and actions that the MCP can take outside of just creating a single link. We'll be able to pass you data. We'll be able to do other actions with that link itself. So yes, we do have a basic version today, and we are expanding those capabilities next quarter. Thank you for your question, Maria.
Yes, and we're tentatively planning a webinar about our MCP in early Q1, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. All right, one more question, commonly asked question. So, if somebody's already using Rebrandly for link management, how can they make the case to their boss that they should upgrade to a plan that has webhooks? So, what's the potential ROI of that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Data is everything in this day and age, right? Data is what gives you insights into um, everything that's happening across your multiple systems. With webhooks, you can start to connect all of those data points together. So, what webhooks will allow you to do, especially if you need to converse with your leadership team, is that it allows you to actually showcase the ROI and the actual engagement and segment that engagement based on those click actions. So it really gives you the ability to start creating dashboards that your leadership team will be most interested to see. Now, we do have some of those dashboards in Rebrandly today, and we are building out more reporting capabilities. But if you really need that fine granular control to get the data points that your leadership is wanting, then webhooks are the way to go. So that is how I would say you can upsell your leadership team on a higher paid plan to get webhooks in Rebrandly.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlissa. Well, if nobody else has any more questions, we can start wrapping up here. Uh, Here's what you can expect from us in the next 24 hours. We're going to send a recording of this webinar to everyone who registered. So if you want to revisit any of the setup steps, you'll have access to that. We're also going to send you a link to our technical white paper on webhook implementation. So this has step-by-step instructions and additional examples for integration that you can use or pass off to your developer team to use. Lastly, if you have any follow-up questions after today, you can reply to the email we send out and we'll make sure that they get to the right person. If you're ready to start using webhooks and you're not already on a professional or higher plan, you can upgrade directly in your account or reach out to our team. And if you're already on a professional plan or higher, you have webhook access right now. So go ahead and try it out. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day, especially during this very busy month and season. So thank you so much. Any final thoughts, Carlissa?
No. Again, thank you everyone for coming to this webinar. As Stephanie has noted, we will have additional webinars in the future, specifically around our MCP. So we do hope to see you there. Thank you everyone for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.